I see we got a couple of people joining us here. Hello, Texans. Hello, Texans. Gonna give it a few more minutes here, at least another minute or two, allow a couple more people to come on. Have a few things I need to address here this evening. Looks like I'm gonna go ahead and turn this off. So thank you all for joining. Thank you. Make sure you go ahead and share this video as well. Let others know that I'm on live. This again is Dr. Tim Westley, running to be your next Texas Land Commissioner, seeking the Republican nomination. Remember, early voting starts next week, the 16th through the 20th, with Election Day on the 24th. Wasn't planning to go live, however, there comes times when you have to do what you have to do. So again, make sure you let people know that I am on live right now. And I'm going to be addressing a couple of issues. One is going to be, of course, our border security. That is an issue that has come up on my Twitter feed. So I'll be addressing it there as well, providing some information there, as well as making sure that those that follow me on YouTube, you can find me there at Dr. Tim Westley. You can find me on my YouTube page as well. And I will be addressing those issues. Again, very important stuff that's going on. We're at a point now where, unfortunately, the establishment is obviously getting quite nervous right about now. We knew that it would come, and it was a matter of time before the establishment would start the petty attacks. These are the same establishment people that say that they're Trumpers and that say that they're Reaganers and say that they believe in Reagan's 11th commandment. Yet and still we see what's taking place. So again, it's something that we expected. So feel free to share this live. Let people know I'm on live because we anticipated the attacks would come. And indeed, they are starting to come, yet we're still covered. We're covered by the Father up above. We're covered by the blood of Jesus, and we are definitely in good company with some great believers and great patriots. So it looks like we're at 10 now. I'm going to go ahead and move forward and discuss what I came to discuss. Right now in Twitter world, there is a battle going on, and there are definitely attacks taking place aimed at me because, of course, I am running for land commissioner, and we're obviously doing a great job. We're obviously doing some great things out there on this campaign trail for land commissioner, because if we weren't, the attacks wouldn't be coming like they are. And if the other side, if the establishment was not concerned, they would not be launching these petty attacks. So what am I talking about? I have a couple of pages that I run out there that's on the internet. And one of my pages that I run is timwesley.com. Of course, the other is going to be the texansfortim.com. And on one of my pages, I have openly for quite a while listed different legislative actions that I've been working on, that I've been pushing forward, that's been public, it's been publicly known for quite a while. One of those legislative requests or actions during my time while I was running for U.S. Congress, during that time I was running for U.S. Congress, the President Trump at that time had a challenge, as did the nation. The challenge that the nation had to deal with DACA. And so what do we do with the DACA situation? That was the question. That was the million-dollar question with the quote-unquote dreamers. What do we do with them? How do we deal with them? The president was challenged. Our Republican Congress was challenged. Our Democrats there were challenged. Our nation was challenged. What do we do with them? Think about this for a moment. What many did not know, that within this group, we had active duty service members as well. Literally had active duty service members that fell into this category. Those that were serving our nation, some in danger zones at the time, they were part of this as well. How do we address this? How do we deal with this? I want to read a couple of quotes from President Trump. I want to read a couple of quotes from him around the same time that I wrote something to him for this legislative address and for him for his presidential agenda. Now, again, the words I'm going to read to you came in the same year that I wrote this proposed presidential agenda item to address the DACA issue. Again, this is President Trump. Trump also said that, and I quote, he was ready, willing, and able to reach a deal to protect illegal immigrants brought to the United States as children from being deported, and that he did not believe Democrats wanted an agreement. Why do I bring this up? The president was really ready to work on this issue for resolution. He went so far as to say, we're going to work out something. And I quote, this is President Trump now, because I'm being called some names out there and being referenced as someone that's pro-amnesty, etc. But listen to what the president had to say during this same time. And I quote, we're going to work something out that's going to make people happy and proud. Talking about these dreamers. They got brought here at a very young age. They've worked here. They've gone to school here. Some were good students. Some have wonderful jobs. And they're in Never Never Land because they don't know what's going to happen. He went on with multiple quotes, looking for resolution for this. At the end of the day, he was looking for answers. As a congressional candidate, I too was looking for answers. I too was looking to provide some answers. So what did I do? We were in need of a wall that was going to cost at that time $5 billion. We were at a point in time in 2018 whereby, if you're real with yourself and you're honest with yourself, we hadn't come up with anything to fix our border problems, our border issues. I'm one right out before I even go into detail about the letter. I believe in our Constitution. I've worn this thing out of mine. I believe in Article 4, Section 4 of the U.S. Constitution. I believe in it and I stand by it, which states, the United States shall guarantee to every state in the Union a Republican form of government and shall protect each of them against invasion, of which we were and still are having on our southern border. And on application of the legislature or the executive, when the legislature cannot convene, against domestic violence. I stand by that. Stood by it then, I stand by it now. I will tell you, you won't find another person in this race for Texas Land Commissioner that has worked harder on border security issues than the person you're looking and watching right now, looking at and watching right now. And that I guarantee you. I wrote a letter to the president because what am I about? I'm about solutions. We have problems that have been long-standing. President needed an answer. He needed a solution. He needed an option. And I gave him one. On average, as I was sharing in this letter to the president, on average, American taxpayers, again, this was in 2018, on average, American taxpayers paid $10,854 to deport an illegal immigrant. That same taxpayer pays at that point an average of $12,300 per pupil every year to educate them, those that are here illegally. What does that equate to? In 12 years, that equates to roughly about $150,000 just on education benefits alone. Now, we have an issue here again, and we have to look at things from a realistic point of view. We have an issue whereby these children were brought here at no fault of their own. We have an issue here whereby the president himself stated, and I'll give you another quote from 2018, but you have some absolutely incredible kids, I would say mostly. They were brought here in such a way. It's a very, very tough subject. We're going to deal with the DACA issue with heart. I have to deal with a lot of politicians, don't forget. And I have to convince them that what I'm saying is right. And I appreciate your understanding on that. What is the president talking about? He had to deal with this issue. I sent him a solution, or at least a suggestion. It wasn't an open-end issue. No, I'll tell you right off, DACA needs to end. We need to end it. And I'll tell you what else I say needs to end, and I'll give you a detailed breakdown of my stance on border security and illegal immigration. But the president needed something then. My suggestion at that point, and it's up publicly, it's on my webpage, timwesley.com, wasn't hiding a thing. That's there amongst a lot of other things which I'll share with you as you hold on. But ultimately, each of these people that were here, they were going to have to pay a $10,000 fee. This $10,000 fee was going to be a fraction of what we pay as taxpayers and would have paid over the next 12 years. This was going to be a fraction. And what would this do? This would have raised in upwards of $7 billion, of which we could have used $5 billion of that to pay for that wall that we want. This would have been something for the president to take to the table to deal with Congress so that we can go forward with some stiffer border security options. This was not going to be an end to all. It would have provided for them to pay this over a 7-year period. And all the details are there. You'll see them on my webpage. Go to timwesley.com and look at it for yourselves. But the bottom line, president needed an option. He needed some answers. He needed something to take to Congress. And again, I believe DACA needs to end. I believe with those 328 legal ports of entry, that people must take them and not come in between. I believe that no one should be cutting the line at all. I'm strong on border security, always have been. But what I want to show you is that the letter I sent to the president to provide a solution for a crucial issue in 2018, dealing with DACA, that would have saved taxpayers a ton of money, brought in more money, allowed for money to be available to finish the wall, and also allowed people to come out of the shadows that, again, these children came over at no fault of their own, to begin paying taxes and so much more. In addition to this, I must remind you, we had hundreds of dreamers that were either serving on active duty or veterans. One of my good friends was one of them. And during his time in a deployment zone, he had the challenge of trying to make sure he got his citizenship, in addition to helping others to get their citizenship. We have people in the United States that's not a part of that less than 1% that served. But these people were a part of that less than 1% that served, didn't know how they got here. Some of them just knew someone brought them over. And this was not going to be an open-ended situation. It was going to provide the president an option to take to Congress for an immediate session of resolution while we can close that issue down at the border. 20 days after sending that to the White House and the president, and this is what they're not posting. They're not telling you all that the president and the White House responded, sending a letter. This is a copy of the letter from the president. This is a copy of the letter from the president thanking me for that suggestion. Is it going to be an end to all? Absolutely not. Did it provide the president an option to take to the table? Yes, it did. Was he appreciative? Yes, he was. The president sent this. But no one's calling him pro-amnesty. No, they're not. What they're saying is that we have a deal maker. We have someone that was ready to make some deals to get some things done that hadn't been done on our border for decades under Democrat nor Republican presidents. Yet when I provide the president a solution or an option for an immediate problem, And he replies, are we calling him pro-amnesty? No, we're not. Where do I stand on border security? It's been clear. It's been made clear more than once. I have a white paper that I wrote in 2019, 2020. It's available under issues on my webpage. And that particular white paper covers everything from border security, health care, all types of immigration issues. You name it, I cover it there. Where I stand when it comes down to being pro-life, because someone said that I believe in abortion. Anyone that knows me knows, one, that I'm a 12-year senior pastor, that I'm still actively in the ministry, and that the abortion issue was one of my number one issues when I ran for Congress because of the near 100 babies that were dying every hour, over 2,400 per day. So anyone knows me knows where I stand when it comes to protecting the lives of the unborn. But the lies are starting. Why? Because we're doing something great on this campaign, and the establishment, they're afraid. I'm going to read some things for you that you can look and see for yourself on my white paper under issues. Click on it. You get details. I tell people all the time, I've been transparent. I'm going to remain transparent on where I stand. These are things that I wrote for solutions for our border security. Advocate for and increase the number of Border Patrol agents. Advocate for general schedule GS workers to operate within Customs and Border Patrol for the purposes of processing and overseeing children and unaccompanied minors, which will free up agents to be in the field. Such GS workers could come from a pool of recently honorably discharged veterans looking to transition into the civilian sector and to serve. They could also come from amongst the family members of those that are serving the Border Patrol. Why do I bring that up? These are things I stand on. I told you that I've done more than most of these people can ever imagine. That issue that I'm speaking about now, I was able to take that to my congressman at the time, and over a period of a couple of years, from 2016 forward, it went through. So when people say I'm pro-amnesty, I'm the person that didn't have to step a foot into Washington, D.C., yet after meeting with our Border Patrol agents, we're able to listen to them, hear their concerns and their needs, and push forth a legislative idea that went forward, went through, and they got the 200 new jobs that they needed. In addition, there was a $10 million appropriations bill that accompanied. Doesn't sound like a person that's not for border security, right? No, it doesn't, because it's not. Not only that, my stance is that we have to ensure that funding is provided for more and better technology and equipment for our agents. End any type of catch and release. Implement harsher penalties for those entering the country illegally. Fight to ensure the U.S. Constitution, Section 4, Article 4, is upheld. Ensure Border Patrol agents are authorized overtime, which will help against high levels of attrition. Provide for better incentives to retain agents and increase family readiness, such as better education options for children of agents in areas of low-performing schools. Promote legislation to navigate beyond environmental issues on the border, preventing agents from being more effective in doing their jobs. And ultimately increase the number of immigration judges. That's just a bit of what I was working on. So when people try to paint the picture or the image that I'm not for border security and that I'm for amnesty, go and read what I've promoted and look and see what I've already done. 200 new jobs to process and assist our Border Patrol agents. In addition, would a man who is not for border security apply at one point to become an ICE agent? Oh, wow. They didn't know that when they decided to post that little information trying to attack me and my character and who I am, the only thing that was between me becoming an ICE agent was the fact I accepted a calling to become a pastor first. Not only that, when I tell you everything's there to be seen, I had someone go to my page, timwesley.com, and pull that one bit of information whereby I was trying to assist our president, President Trump, in taking something to the negotiation table so that we can move forward from being stumped and stuck in the spot that we were as a nation, and we can move towards getting some stronger immigration laws and securing our border. They pulled that particular information from between other petitions that I had at the White House at the time. What else did I have at the White House at the time? They did not mention anything about the petition that I sent to President Trump. And uniquely, they said I was begging the president. No. You don't understand negotiations, obviously. You don't understand critical thinking. You don't understand solution providing. You don't understand those things. So they didn't tell you all that I was petitioning the White House and Congress to give us 5,000 more Border Patrol agents. And they didn't tell you that that petition was successful. They didn't tell you that I was also petitioning the White House for an employment evacuation protection plan. That plan, called an EPP bill, was going to provide protection, additional protection that is, for workers that have to evacuate during a natural disaster like Hurricane Harvey. They didn't tell you that I was also petitioning the White House, not begging, petitioning the White House and our Congress so that we can make sure our active duty military personnel was not being able to qualify, would not qualify for SNAP, a Supplemental Nutrition Assistance Program. We have active duty members that are on food stamps, literally. They didn't say I was petitioning the White House for that. No, they didn't tell you that I was petitioning the White House also and the president to make sure that we move forward with a National Veteran Suicide Prevention and Awareness Month. They didn't tell you that I was petitioning the White House to make sure that we do various things that were going to help citizens. Not only petitioning them, but also petitioning on the behalf of a Gold Star mom for her son, Sergeant Adam Two-Step Huckstep. They didn't tell you that President Trump wrote back right before the election as well, and he was going to move forward with that legislation had he been reelected. They didn't tell you that, did they? No, they didn't. And I can go on and on. There are many things here, including when it comes down to our police and law enforcement. There's a video out there they're showing of me talking about law enforcement from well over a decade ago. But they didn't tell you that I'm also the person that was pushing forward the bill for, at that point, and still is, U.S. Senator Tim Scott. He was pushing the Walter Scott Notification Act, which was foundational to what I was talking about over a decade ago. They didn't tell you that when the Alamo was threatened to be burned down, and when we had Black Lives Matter personnel there, and we had tension at the Alamo, they didn't tell you that Dr. Westley was there with petition in hand, standing between BLM and armed defenders. They didn't tell you that that petition was the same one to make sure that we can help Americans and ultimately help our police to be viewed in a different light. No, they want to make it look like I'm anti-police or something. Fact of the matter is, who would look to join ICE, Immigration, Customs, and Enforcement, if that were the case? Instead of telling you all those great things going on timwesley.com, they decided to pull out one thing that they can try to use as a smear because we're winning. Yes, because we're winning. This is what the establishment is doing because we're winning. Neither did they tell you that what we're working on and looking to do is to make sure that as the next Texas land commissioner, that we're going to clamp down where we can and how we can on illegal immigration. How so? Of the 1,254 miles of southern border, the public land that's overseen by the land commissioner's office, it's in the hundreds of thousands of acres. I want to make sure I'm working with legislators. And as I work with those legislators, I want to ensure that anyone found on public land here in the great state of Texas, that they're automatically charged with a felony and their chances of becoming a citizen is gone. I want to make sure people are so confused as to wondering if they're on federal land, private land, or public land, that they stay off all the land and come through one of the 328 legal ports of entry. Do it the right way. I just had to share those things with you. If y'all want to know anything else about where I stand on these issues, go to my webpage, Texans4Tim.com. It's there. I've told people, Google me. There's information out there. You want to know what I've been doing? Go to TimWestley.com. You'll see the legislative actions I've been taking at the federal and the state level, trying to get people to register to vote, learn who their representatives are, and get involved in the political process. Why am I under attack? One, because I know I'm a man of faith, and the devil doesn't like that. Satan doesn't like that. And two, we're doing some great things, and the establishment is afraid. And from one grassroots patriot to the establishment, I'll tell you, you should be afraid, because we're coming. We're on our way to Austin, God willing. And when we get there, as I've said before, everybody's on notice for we the people. We're going to do some things for the people, and we're going to make changes for we the people. May God bless you. May he bless the great state of Texas. And may he bless these United States of America. Thank you for listening.